Good afternoon, everybody. Mike Rankin Jr. here with Pain Free Life here in Clayton, Missouri, and we do have an office in Dallas, Texas, but we do work with people really all over the world if you ever need any help with anything. We deal with a lot of pain, a lot of chronic illness. Most of the people that we see in our offices have been through literally, legitimately 20, 30, sometimes more doctors. I mean, I had some guy a few months ago that have been through literally 50 doctors. They have tried, all these different methods and different types of doctors, all these kinds of drugs and everything. And we have so many different modalities that we use. And over the course of, the last couple of years, we've been doing some educational videos on some of these things that we use. And one of them has become actually one of my favorite tools, Nick. And it's cool because, they're inexpensive, so easy to use. You can teach anybody to use these things, and they're very powerful. But I will tell you, so everybody out there, hey, this is my friend, Nick Lamoth. He is a naturopath. I've been practicing for close to 30 years now, has been an allergy specialist for 27 years, PhD in nutrition, and is certified in, I think it's over 70 different types of healing modalities, just a constant learner. Which is one of the things we love about you. And so Dad had actually sent me a couple of your coins here. Gotta get the product here. A couple of these devices, you call them here. And it was one of those things, Nick, where Dad sent them to me, and I was like, he goes, "Here, use these. I've been putting them on people's brains and doing cool stuff, And I'm like, okay, that was literally the only explanation. But then he started telling me about some of these other, like these success stories he was having, and I'm like, I should probably know more about these. So I called you up one day, to go right hear it from the horse's mouth on how to use these things. And Nick, this is absolutely God's hand and totally serendipitous. It was, I don't know if you remember the day, the first time we talked, I had one of my clients come in who I've been working with for some time, who had a poisoning from an antibiotic that we had been working with, and it caused a bunch of brain stuff. But so she was coming in for something different, but a couple of weeks, I think it was like 3 weeks before, she had banged the top of her head and gotten a minor concussion, and it had thrown off her equilibrium. So she was like, nauseous. I felt seasick all the time, kept bumping into stuff, felt like she was going to fall over, dizzy spells all the time, standing up, doing anything, And so I was on the phone with you when she walked in, and I was like, "Hey, Nick, what do you know about, equilibrium problems or whatever?" And you're like, "Oh, that's a super easy fix. Take one of the coins, put it on a governing vessel." I think it's governing vessel 22 is like the point of 1,000 cures. 20?
Governing vessel 20.
Yeah.
We call it the point of 1,000 cures.
Right. So you had me change her depth perception. Like she looks at the floor, back at me, ceiling, back at me, span the outside, walk through doorways, stand up, sit down, anything that would make her nauseous. And 90 seconds, gone. I was like, we were both freaked out. So then I just obviously over the next few weeks, couple months, I really started playing with them. And I realized that you can use them on acupuncture points. I know you've been studying that half your life. So I just, we talked about that. And so I just started tinkering around with it. I was having trouble getting to sleep one night. And so I took out my acupuncture app. I typed in sleep. It came up with a bunch of points. So like one of them is a lung point. So I was just laying there and I'm like, I just stuck them there, and then I just, a couple of minutes would go by. I didn't really time it or anything. And I'd be watching TV some more. I'm like, I think I'll move them now, and I slept like a baby. So I've used them for, anxiety, some sleep, digestive issues. These are the things that I myself have personally used with them with. So yeah. Anyway, I've done a lot of talking here on why I think these little things are so cool, but I know you've got so much stuff to talk about. So if you want to go ahead and take over, please do.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you having me on your podcast. I'm not sure what it is you call these on Zoom, I guess.
Little interviews,
So I appreciate that. And, I'm glad to see your excitement about the devices, because I feel the same way that you do. I was so excited about this technology when I first got involved with it, that literally I bought half the company. And so my partner at the time, Dr. John Char, who invented the technology, right? My company created all of the resources that we programmed into the devices. So my role was to take all of his energy formulas, put them together for him into packages, and then imprint them into the technology of the devices. So I had a huge role to play, but really Dr. Char is the inventor, Dr. John Char. He's a holistic dentist in Hawaii, but he's the actual inventor. But I got so excited about this technology. My wife and I literally bought half his company. So it's nice to see somebody else who gets so excited about this kind of stuff. Now, being an allergist, of course, the main way that I wanted to see if the technology would work is to help people do allergies at home. So we created a technique called allergy overload technique. And what it does, basically, it's a homework technique that helps the body deal with allergy symptoms related to allergy stress syndromes. And it uses a series of neural prompts that prompt the nervous system into action. And then the points, of course, on acupuncture points. And when you hold something you're allergic to while you stimulate, and of course the device, you have to have that at the same time, and then you stimulate these acupuncture points, your body has the ability to re-coordinate its response to the allergen and possibly eliminate or at least greatly reduce all your allergy reactions to that situation. So that was super exciting to develop that. Of course, Dr. Char developed the techniques for pain, for emotional support. And then your dad and I actually worked on a project together. He asked me to try and help him figure out a way to help some of the frequencies in the brain. Mm-hmm. And so I developed a technique called neurosynaptic synchronization technique that helps the brain re-coordinate and unwind all the stuck neural communication in the brain related to different topics. So it's really cool to see that you're using the devices on acupuncture points. Of course, we've used them on trigger points for pain, on areas of pain, things like that. So we're putting all this information on a website. And it was supposed to be up yesterday. It's not quite up yet, but we're days away from having it up. And it's called homeallergyrelief.com. Okay. And I sent you some brochures so you can send those out so people can find out about it. Hopefully within a week to 2 weeks. I don't know. You know, we're having just some issues with the videos and stuff like that. So we're trying to get all that worked out. But, you know, this technique is so amazing because it allows people to work with allergies and other health issues at home. And that's really what we wanted to do. You know, people come into my office, it takes sometimes a lot of visits. If you have a lot of allergies, it can take a lot of visits. And so that's a little frustrating for people to think that they've got to come back and come back and come back. Well, sometimes that's what it takes to get these allergies dealt with. But if you can do the majority of the work at home, then all I have to do at the office is deal with the harder stuff that you can't do at home. Yeah. So about 80% of most of the allergy issues that people have, we believe that they can do at home following this easy procedure called allergy overload technique.
And that's, of course, Nick, that's the tapping method that you taught me
the tapping
some time
technique,
ago,
that's
right? Yeah, that's really, really cool. For those out there, it's, you know, are unfamiliar with tapping, you're tapping a certain synchronized acupuncture point structure, right? Basically.
Yeah, that's very true. And what Dr. Char did is he actually programmed all the information related to every point you tap into special formulas that created the base formulas for all the technology. And so when you tap while you're holding the device with the backside towards the body, and you're doing a neural prompt by tapping each of the acupuncture points, right? Mm-hmm. What you're doing is downloading complete files of information stored in here that's associated to each acupuncture or electroacupuncture by bowl point that you're tapping. And so your brain gets this bombardment of information that helps it reorganize its response to the offending item so your allergy symptoms disappear and the allergies go away. So it's the most amazing thing. It's a total health self-healing technique that's done at home. And about 80% of the things that you're allergic to can all be handled at home. And maybe even 5% more if you learn some of the extra techniques we teach. So we teach also techniques on how to test yourself, called the self-testing postural technique. And then we have some advanced technique that show the master point, governing vessel 20 on top of the head, and then some advanced points using finger modes, some extra allergy points. And then we have a brain lobe technique that we teach with people that have a really hard time with brain fog and processing natural healing techniques. We also have a self posture balance. So you can take 2 devices and put one on each side of the head on gallbladder.
We do that a lot.
10A. And
Yeah.
it takes about 4 to 8 minutes to unwind all the stress in the body. So we're basically putting all this information on the website, talking about what the technology does. And I'll try and sum that up really quick because this is new technology that people are unfamiliar with. And basically, Dr. Char and I are both radionic scientists. So I've been doing radionics since about 1994. And I sell radionic equipment and so this is why I was tasked with putting all this information into the metal devices, which was Dr. Char's purpose, was to get these into something you can hand down from generation to generation. But basically, he took a bunch of intrinsic data and put them into little formulas like homeopathy. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's about as close as we can get. So you know how you can mix homeopathic formulas together?
Yes.
Right? So that's the concept that he was doing. And basically, he took all these formulas, and when I say formulas, we're talking thousands and thousands of formulas that actually were put into these devices. He describes it as, like, you ever seen those really thick phone books that we used to get, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
Imagine 10 or 15 of those. That's getting close to describe the amount.
In here?
Oh yeah, to every device that we create.
Really?
That's exactly right. So it's not an easy process to put information into these devices, but it's all in the form of intrinsic data.
Okay.
There's no magnetic fields or anything like that. And then on the back of the device is a subtle energy amplifier that resonates the information out of the device and stimulates the the receptors for your acupuncture meridians and chakras and aura fields. And then all that information is turned into nerve impulses and sent to the brain. And then the brain has that information and can respond to it. But to simplify this, because I know that's a lot that I've already said, but basically what you have is a bunch of information in here that your brain has access to that the body uses to balance the polarity relationships in the cell. When your body gets stressed, basically what happens in your cells, the relationships of polarity are thrown off. And what happens is the cell has a harder time functioning. It becomes very sluggish. Dr. Char said you lose the spin of your cells, and you would always spin a top, and then when it's spinning really fast, you can't even tell it's moving. But when it starts to wobble, because it's losing its spin, its function is decreased, right? So that's a great analogy that he used about what happens in the cell when the polarity relationships get off. Well, the formulas inside these devices simply are available to the brain, and the brain uses them to rebalance the polarity relationships in the cells. Therefore, the cell can work at its greatest potential, so it revitalizes the function of every part of your body. Now, that's basically what it does. So stress throws off the polarities. The devices correct that polarity so the cells can work normally. Now you add neural prompting by stimulating acupuncture points or chakras or areas of pain. And now the body takes all this organized data and can relieve this stress in the body all by itself. It's a total self-healing protocol. So Dr. Char has an emotional technique that he taught called comprehensive emotional technique, CET 1+9. He's got the bioenergetic pain technique that he uses. And then we've got the allergy overload technique, the posture balance, and the neurosynaptic synchronization. So we've got techniques that we're putting together, but pioneers like yourself are using them and developing other things at the same time. So it's really exciting to see what's happening there. And
well,
so
I mean,
I'm just
like, I mean, once I started playing with them and knowing nothing about them or how to use them, but still having like just this weird stuff that I would not believe, you know, had I not seen this with my own eyes. And then I just started like, what else can these do? You know, it was literally why I just started tinkering around with them. You know, one of the things I know we do a lot, we work on those gallbladder points, you know, a lot of them back here. And man, we'll get people like start to swing around involuntarily. You know, it's crazy. And so I was just telling you this, one of my teachers in school is a shaman and sees energy very readily, right? And so I had these on her head. She starts moving around. She goes, "What is this?" I go, you know, and I just described to her a little bit, you know, they're imprinted with all these hundreds, thousands of different healing frequencies and whatever. And I go, and they're, you know, it's unwinding energy. And she goes, yeah, I know, I can see it.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You know, what Dr. Char calls it is unwinding. And
Uh-huh.
that's a principle used in cranial sacral therapy. When you have lesions in your cranial bones, you can hold the body in a certain place and the body will unwind the stress of all the kinks and all the lesions in the cranial rhythm. Well, Dr. Char would say that it unwinds kinks in your energy fields of your acupuncture meridians. It unwinds kinks in your aura fields. It unwinds kinks in your chakras. But we can prove that it unwinds kinks in your fascia tissue. So it affects the body in so many ways when you're doing the unwinding. And it's just a self-correcting technique. Now, Dr. Char studied with Dr. Voll in Germany before Dr. Voll died. So everything that we did at Dr. Char's company was based on the work that Dr. Voll did. And these points, gallbladder 10A, Dr. Voll calls the self-postural balance points. And that's what he researched that those points were associated to. He also talks about the point as being parasympathetic points. So it's very calming to the body. If you notice after you do the unwinding, how calming the body feels.
Yes.
And just to give you a really crazy story, okay,
Please.
This happened years ago when Dr. Char and I started doing lectures back in the mid-2000s. I was invited to Alaska to do a lecture up there by a friend of mine who uses radionic devices, the biophoton analyzer, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I was
Alan?
up there, and we were just introducing all the bioharmonizers and bioresonators. And so we're in a group of about 25 people, and I was going to show somebody how to do the unwinding technique, right? And so we asked for a volunteer. Well, the lady who asked me to come up there, her best friend was there. She invited her. She was visiting from somewhere down the lower 48, right? So she raised her hand. Well, since it was the best friend of the woman that was hosting the event, I asked her to come up, right? And I love to touch people, so I shook her hand right away, right? I'm a very tactile guy. And her hands were so ice cold, it shocked me. But, you know, I'm not going to say anything. You know, we're up in the front of all these people, right? So we get a headband out, we put it on her head, and we take a device, and we do paired devices. So we're going to use a cross and a triangle together, right? The ones with the designs. One's got a cross, one's got a triangle. And you take the back of the device and you put it on each side, and then you close your eyes, put your feet together, and let your body just naturally move. It feels like somebody's taking over your body, but it's not.
Yes.
It's just your body unwinding the stress. I always explain it. You know, the telephone headsets with the cords on them, and they get, you know, when we were kids, that's how we talked to everybody, right? But those cords would get so wound up from being used all the time that you had to hold it upside down and let the weight of the handle unwind the cord. Well, that's actually what we believe is happening in your body when you're doing the unwinding, right? And so this lady got up there and she's unwinding and she's just surprised as can be. The first time you do this, it's amazing that this actually can happen, right?
Yeah.
So she goes through this unwinding, she finishes the whole thing. And then when you're done unwinding, your body will rock forward and back in a straight line. And if your body does that 3 times in a row, you're basically done. Right. Now, some people can already tell when they're done. They don't have to wait for it to go back and forth. But most people will feel that straight back and forth rocking. So she's done it. We asked her, you know, well, how do you feel? And she goes, well, I felt this really soothing, warm energy going from the top of my head down my body. She goes, I feel so calm and I feel so good right now. She goes, I've never done anything like that. She just, you know, befuddled, right? Yeah. So then I thanked her. So I shake her hand again, right? And I thank her. And my goodness, her hands were so warm. I couldn't believe it. And I go, my goodness. So I said something to her. I go, well, when I first shook your hand, your hand was freezing cold. And now, 5 minutes later, I shook your hand again. It's warm. She goes, oh yeah, I didn't tell you. I just had open heart surgery done 10 weeks ago. And I was just cleared to be able to come visit my friend up in Alaska. So not only did it unwind all this stuff in her body, but it changed the peripheral blood flow in her body during that time and opened up the ability for her blood to circulate through her body, and it changed her temperature. It was amazing.
In a few minutes.
In about 4.5 minutes. So her story, so everybody in the room, of course, is just like totally blown away. I was blown away. I never heard a story like that before, but of course I've heard lots and lots of stories since then. So, I could spend a lot of time telling stories about things that I've seen with the technology, but, just trying to get the information out to people that it's not, goofy. And I'm trying to write as best I can all the events that kind of came together in the creation of this technology, and what all of the rates on the back, and the geometry and all that thing, and how it interrelates and how it plays together. So I'm writing all that and putting it out on the web, and hopefully we're days away. So
Cool.
it was supposed to come out on the 1st. Now we're thinking Monday. If we can't get it out Monday, then I'm going to just say, okay, we're going to do it the next Monday. So one of these Mondays in July, we should have the website up, homeallergyrelief.com.
Homeallergyrelief.com. Hey, do you have in case they want to purchase some of the coins? I mean, I've got them at the office. You want to save some shipping, but if you want to order them in bulk or something, if you want to give them a phone number.
Oh yeah. So so homeallergyrelief.com doesn't have a phone number, but all of the devices are going to be shipped out from my other company, Allergies, Lifestyle, and Health. My company also makes allergy testing samples for doctors around the world. And they're going to be doing all the shipping for the Home Allergy Relief company. So if you want to order things before the website comes out, the phone number to Allergies, Lifestyle, and Health is 253-271-7095. And right now is the best time to order because we've got them still on sale. We're going to run some specials, of course, on the website, but mostly, to get the best deal, you want to buy 10 or more at a time. Mm-hmm. And that will continue.
Because I go through them. I mean,
Yeah, that's good.
When I introduce them to them.
Yeah. And so we're going to have videos on how to do the techniques. We're going to have, I'm going to start writing a newsletter. We're going to have allergy stuff available. And then we're putting together the next phase of the website right now, but I'm not going to tell anybody about it right now because it's not ready. But we've got another phase ready to go. Like I had a woman send me 2 weeks ago a list of all the pollens in the Pacific Northwest and what time of the year each plant pollinates.
Wow.
So we're going to put that information out to people so that they can, take advantage of things that people are sharing out there to help people get over their allergies. So we're going to have a special part of our website for things like that, but that's still in development. So I'll talk about it a little more later on, but we will have lots of support material for people that want to get rid of allergies, deal with pain syndromes. That the emotional technique goes so far beyond some of the other techniques that are out there right now that it's really worth learning. And again, it's designed for people to be able to do on themselves at home.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about it because, I've got $100,000 of equipment in my office, but these are one of my favorite tools. For $100.
Not horribly expensive right now.
And you can, and again, you can teach people to do these. I love teaching people that are, things to do for themselves.
Right.
So they're not constantly reliant on someone else, and you can't hurt somebody with these.
Right.
You can only help them.
That's true. Now, having said that, I've seen people that are allergic to the plastic.
Oh, okay.
I've seen people that are allergic to the metal. I've met one person in my life that had an actual allergy to subtle energy fields.
Really?
So Yeah. So if anybody has what they think is a negative response to using the devices, they should email us here at homeallergyrelief.com. Let us know, and
Okay.
be careful. I mean, we all have to use common sense and be careful. And if something doesn't feel right, you really should stop using it. Now it really is rare, but
Yeah.
I mean, we all need
I
to
mean,
use good
I've used
common
this
sense.
I've used them on probably 100 people. I've
Yeah.
never, not one time,
Yeah,
had
we
anybody have
rarely
negative.
hear about it, but I want to let everybody know we need to pay attention all the time. There's
Yeah,
lots of phenomena out there, and we don't want anybody getting hurt.
of
And
course.
I will say that, you know, for allergies that are life-threatening, like anaphylaxis, you should never, ever, ever use any homework technique or anything to try to help your body deal with a life-threatening allergy. It
Now
should never,
you
ever
do,
be
like
done.
myself, I do work with anaphylactic allergies with tremendous success. And I
Right.
know you do too, but you want them to come to your office for that sort of thing.
That should never be done at home ever,
Right,
because
right.
if something goes wrong,
Yeah,
the potential is death.
yes.
So we should never ever work. That is not a homework technique or
Yeah,
a homework process, right?
yeah. And
So
you can
that's
certainly talk
something
to them
that
more
should be
about
done
that, you know?
by
Yeah.
professionals. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Nick, I think we're going to wrap this up right now so we can
okay.
keep people, watching, because I want people to see this. And if we get too long, we run the risk
Well,
of
I
some
appreciate it.
people who really need to see it not seeing it. So,
Yeah.
Nick, repeat your phone number for the products again, please.
Okay. So the phone number, if you want to buy before the website gets up, is area code 253-271-7095. And that's the Allergy Lifestyle and Health Company. And but once the website's up, everybody will be ordering right off the website.
Got it.
Right.
It.
Yeah.
Cool.
But until then,
All
yeah.
right. Well, thanks
All
so
right.
much for talking to us today, Nick. It was really, I always love talking to you, man. There's always
Yeah, we've had a great relationship.
You're
We could
such
spend
like
a
a
lot of time on the
well,
phone.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Well,
nice to see you for the first time.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
met on Sky or Zoom here for the first time ever.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, if you need any help, painfreelifellc.com. You can go to the testimonial page and you'll see everything from reversal of organ failure to any kind of pain. And I mean, any and every kind of pain. I don't care I don't care what your doctors told you. I don't care how many surgeries you've had, what their prognosis is or diagnosis. It's not relevant for what we're doing here, just moving around some energy. You can reach me at 314-899-9535 or again, painfreelifellc.com. There's a chat box on there. You can hit me up anytime. Thanks again so much, Nick, and I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day, and happy 4th of July, everybody. Thanks.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. Thanks. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, me too.